Welcome to the Chwang Vibes, your leisurely small talks with Tiffany Wong and Henry Chung. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, YouTube, all under at Chwang Vibes. You can catch us on Instagram at Chwang Vibes and our personals at Henry Chung 314 and our, Tiff __ Beck. Beck as in Baekhyun. Today we have a very, 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 very special guest.
Yeah.
His first name starts with a J and ends with Un. Hello, June. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, June.
Hello, everyone.
I'm feeling like we're.
But sorry, I wanted to talk, but my bad. You go. My bad.
I feel like we're recording for the radio show, and our guest is so professional that I made him record himself and sending it to me.
That's because you're lazy.
No, that's better quality.
Sure. Anyways, because Tiff did such a terrible introduction to June, June is our good friend at Spill the KT, our radio show.
Yep.
Featured on WTBU at the Beat of Boston University. You can catch us. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give the whole spiel of that. But yes, he's our third co-host for our radio show. And this is the first time he's been on our podcast. So it's going to be very exciting.
Yes.
Unfortunately for June, we're going to be very personal, very intimate. We're going to get into the depths of everything in his life. Which unfortunately he hasn't done in Spill the KT. So we're going to really, really just dive deep. Almost a little too deep. But deep enough. Hopefully.
So you're gonna take on the role of a paparazzi.
Absolutely. But June, before we get into, our topic for today, which we haven't actually told you yet, and we won't be telling you until a little later, we're going to ask you to kind of give us a somewhat brief, somewhat long, somewhere in between introduction about yourself. Because personally, June, I actually don't know a lot about where you're from, and where you went to high school, and your high school activities and extracurriculars and all that spiel, right? You know when you go to interviews, you have to give that whole elevator pitch? That's basically what we're going to ask of you right now.
Super long version of it.
Okay,
super
you don't have
long
to give that
version.
long. Like, not 20 minutes, please.
Okay. My name is June, and I'm currently a junior at BU majoring in elementary education. I'm from Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is basically like the K-town of New Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah. I live like right across New York. So like we literally live on the other side of the bridge. And I went to Fort Lee High School. My hobbies include
That was it? Damn.
I'm trying to think of like what else I would.
Have you lived in Fort Lee your whole life?
Yeah, so I moved a lot. I've been to a different elementary school, I've been to 2 to 3 different elementary schools, 2 different middle schools, but then I stayed in one high school. And I
Good for
switched
you.
back and forth between New Jersey and New York.
That's
Wait
not
a
too
minute.
far.
My head is just exploding.
Yeah, it's like really complicated. So I was born in New Jersey. I went up to kindergarten in New Jersey. Then from kindergarten to 2nd grade, I lived in New York. And then from 2nd grade to 6th grade, I lived in New Jersey in a different town. And then from 8th grade, I went back to New York. And then for all of high school, I went back to New Jersey in Fort Lee.
So, for New York, do you mean New York City or upstate New York?
Yeah, so New York as in Queens, yeah.
That's not too far from New Jersey.
Yeah, not too far.
Are your parents on the fickle side? Possibly they don't really make decisions very well, because it kind of seems from an outside perspective they don't really know where they want to live.
It's more of like a custody thing, because I like switched it back, and when I was little I switched back and forth between my mom and dad.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that. Nice. Before we rudely interrupted you, you were actually about to get into like extracurriculars, activities, stuff like that.
Right. Besides being on our lovely Spill the KT,
Yeah, very lovely.
when it's like a normal semester without Corona, I'm involved in the dance club at BU, specifically for K-pop.
Oh, that's cool actually.
And then
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm in a Christian a cappella group at BU as well. And then I'm also in the elementary education club.
Are you a baritone by chance? Possibly a bass?
I'm actually a tenor.
Oh, I'm surprised. You had such a really, really deep voice. I just assumed. Sorry.
Deep voice?
Wow, you're like the first person who's ever said I had a deep voice.
Because
really-
he's joking about it.
Oh,
What? She's lying! First of all, Tiff, you're being very mean. Stop it. June, I think you had a very deep voice. I'm kind of surprised. But that's cool. I had no idea about the Christian a cappella was even a thing.
hmm
But now I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
When June Day Spiller interned on the same radio show my first semester freshman year, he told me that I should go to that K-pop dance group because they teach you dance very well. And I went once.
You definitely need all the help dancing.
that
you
was
can
that was it. I went once and that was it.
get. Did you enjoy it?
Not really.
Oh.
It's my problem.
See, okay, I think I told Tiff this already, but I'll tell June this. When I visited Korea back in like 2019, it was a summer vacation between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college, and I somehow found myself in a female-only K-pop dance routine thing. Okay, for context, I'm 6'4", and also I'm a guy. Okay, that's a big thing, right? We don't want to get that mixed up. So I felt very, very out of place. And it was also weird because whenever you'd have to do your move your arms above your head, my arms would hit the ceiling, right? Which didn't give me a lot of room, per se. Anyways, long story short, it was really, really embarrassing. It was really fun for no one besides me, I guess. And we did like a recording at the end. You know how they use those fancy cameras and like the swivel things? I felt so bad for everyone who paid for that because anyone behind me just disappears. They just don't. They're not dancing because you can't see them. I was like, damn, you paid for that. That's really embarrassing.
Did
was
you
the last-
get yourself filmed?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a matter of like how much of my body is in it. If my head was in it, that was a good thing. It was more of just like my torso to my neck was in it, right?
That's better for the viewers.
Okay, that wasn't nice. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so that was my first and hopefully last time I ever danced, and hope to never do that again. That was terrifying, but I think that was a really good introduction, June. I definitely learned more. I'm sure the listeners at home also did. Usually what we do right before we get into the topic is we like to play a little game, June. Little game, right? Sometimes it's a word association game. Sometimes it's a guessing words game. But we have a very special game for you, June, because as someone who is on our Korean radio show, we have something that I think is tailored for you. And it's the guess the song game. I'm gonna play
my.
1 second of the official music video of songs. Actually, I'll play 1 second of the song on Spotify, right? You know all of the songs. I'm gonna give you 1 second. I'll turn it off. You have to guess it. If you don't guess it, I'll go up to 3 seconds, and if you don't get it by 5 seconds, we're gonna say we take the W and you took the L. How does that sound?
Oh no.
Perfect, perfect.
My spill the KT knowledge is on the line.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This is gonna be really embarrassing if you mess it up. Let's see. Let me get the songs ready. Okay.
It's not
Lord.
ready.
It's ready. It's ready.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, that's all you
Spring.
get.
Okay, Spring Day.
Oh,
God. Oh my god.
see, I told you it's too easy for him.
Yeah. Okay. So Spring Day by.
BTS.
All right, that wasn't hard. That's good. That's good. I expected you to get that. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Mic Drop by BTS.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Just wait half a second.
Wait.
Oh, I think we got him. Do you want me to
We're
play
gonna-
that?
Wait.
We're gonna speak over it while he plays.
Yeah. Blah 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 blah.
DNA by BTS.
How?
Wow!
He's crazy. Oh my
No,
god.
I was like confused between DNA and Idol.
Wow, I don't think
Wow.
I can do that to EXO songs.
That was pretty amazing. Tiffany, funnily enough, I only had 3 songs prepared, but I actually have 1 song for you, Tiff. It's gonna be really embarrassing if you don't get this. Okay.
Why do you have to pick such an obvious one?
Can you just say it?
It's Love Shot by EXO!
Okay, nice. Well, that was our little game to get everyone warmed up and ready. June, I'm impressed because I actually, for that last one, I didn't tell you I was playing it, and then I stopped it like half a second early, and you still got it.
And I was speaking over it.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Dang. I guess you can stay on the radio show. I guess you proved yourself. Darn it. But anyways, that really had nothing to do with our topic at all. But Tiff, you want to kind of give an introduction about the topic and go straight into the questions.
Yeah, I guess I was just really interested in like your major and what you're doing. And then Henry's like, that's too specific. We need to go for the larger picture.
Oh,
and
here we go.
and so we broadened the topic into turning passions into careers. I don't see how that's different from what I came up with. Yeah, that's
She
different.
was like, June, how does it feel to sleep on the right side of the bed with your left head tilted at a 16-degree angle? A little too specific, Tiffany. A little too specific.
Yeah, so we wanted to know your passions, like what you like to do growing up.
My passion. Well, first off, my number 1 passion is my relationship with my bed.
See? I could have gotten that.
Let's go!
That's non-disputable.
Yeah,
so
that makes 3 of us. I mean, Tiffany was sleeping 5 minutes ago.
Yes, that is my number 1 passion. But my passions growing up, I think mostly had to do with music. I think I've always liked music ever since I was little. I always like sang with my sister.
That's adorable.
Yeah, we loved listening to like songs in the car and then singing. And I think another one is movies. Like I really enjoyed movies and like how they're made. So like what kind of effects go into it, what kind of lighting, what kind of equipment is used.
Wow.
Things like that.
Hey Tiff, take some notes. You might need this for your class.
I'm a film major too, and I don't think about any of that. But
Oh my God,
yeah, I
what
see
a new
you're
host.
I see you're still posting a cappella and then like cover songs on Instagram. I follow your other Instagram account that posts songs. So are you still doing that right now?
Yeah, I try to do it whenever I have time, and then I know like I sometimes ask like friends to do collabs together.
That's
And
adorable.
then yeah.
Wait, can you
Henry-
plug this?
Henry wants to
I need to follow.
participate.
Yeah, I'll be the soprano.
The baritone.
No, I have a very high voice, man.
Okay.
Oh
Oh no.
My bad. But actually, we'll have you plug all of this at the end. Don't worry. We'll have you plug all of this. I'm really curious because I actually didn't even know this existed. But apparently Tiff just decided to disclose this information to herself because she, at night, likes to watch you sing. It makes her feel better.
I totally
know why.
forgot until he mentioned it.
Dang. Nice. So did you feel like your passions for singing and movies, were they attainable? As in, like, did you feel like as you started to grow up, right? Because a lot of us feel this way. We have something that we really, really enjoy, but, whether it's from family pressures or societal pressures or friends saying, that's stupid, or just yourself, like, kind of internalizing, did you find, like, later on as you grew up, these are things I really like, but I kind of need to find something that I can make a career?
I think even up till high school, like I changed my my decisions for like what I wanted to do in the future so many times. Like I know, like I think up till senior year I was like dead set on being a film major. and like going into that field.
Tiff, put
And
your
then-
hands down.
I think like I think at some point before that I wanted to do like something in the medical field too, because I know that I liked helping people.
So you want to be a medical field
Film.
film
Filmmaker.
genius. That's really impressive.
Yeah, and then it all changed again at like midpoint senior year to teaching,
Mhm.
because that's when I realized like I think I like teaching the most out of all the passions I had.
Really? That's interesting. So what exactly kind of changed your mindset, right? Because it seemed like for a really long time you were kind of dead set on film. You know?
Honestly, I thought teaching would be like the last thing I would do, because I was just dying to get out of school, but then I chose a career where I had have to be in school forever.
Yeah, nice go. Nice one.
But the specific thing that made me want to do it was so my high school made us do like mandatory community service hours, so we had to do like 50 hours before we graduated.
Mhm.
And so I was just doing this volunteer thing in the summer where I was in this third grade classroom as a TA
Mhm.
teaching like math and science. And then it was I've done like summer camps before, but I've never like taught like subjects.
Yep.
So I thought after that experience, it made me realize like it's something that like I actually enjoy doing and something that I could see myself like continuing to do in the future. So that's why I decided to do it.
Mhm.
Wow. Someone actually changed his career path because of those mandatory volunteer hours.
Yeah,
Pretty impressive.
That's very unique. So I guess, I mean, you talk a lot about how you started to realize that you were enjoying teaching, right? But I find it still strange that you chose one over the, like, teaching over the others, right? Was there a point maybe you felt like, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm that interested in film, or like, I don't know if I'm really going to invest all that time. Like, I don't know. Was there like that sort of moment for you?
Yeah, yeah, so ultimately it was like between film and teaching.
Yeah.
But what made me decide one over the other was I guess I felt like I wasn't like as prepared as like other people going into film.
Mhm.
Like
Interesting.
I remember I was in this I don't know if you guys know it. It's like IB classes. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't
It's like it's like advanced classes, but like a different idea. Like,
Yeah, I was in this IB film class, and then the kids in that class, like the kids that wanted to go into film, I felt like they were so much more like handy and more equipped compared to like,
That's
me, and like
because I'm not in that class.
True.
Like, I probably watched, 10 films before going into a film major.
That's it? You did. What?
No, apparently not. But I watch very few films in comparison to other students, I guess. But like, I don't feel they're too advanced.
Okay, what is she saying? Okay. So I guess my follow-up question to that is, now looking back, right, in retrospect, because obviously when you're in the moment, it's harder to know whether or not you're like, right or wrong. But 4 years basically have passed. Do you regret your decision, or are you happy that you made, you know what, I'm glad I did? Or do you see yourself almost doing both eventually?
I don't regret my decision, but I do regret not continuing it even as like a hobby.
Mhm.
I do definitely regret not continuing as a hobby. But yeah, I don't think I regret choosing education over film, because it's something that I like. The more I learned about it, the more I started to like it even more.
That's good. Also,
So
June has
there's-
like a really ASMR silky voice.
I
If
know.
if I'm in third grade, I'm sorry, June. I'm
You're
going to
gonna
fall
fall
asleep. I'll be like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's funny because every time, so whenever I teach, there's usually a supervisor there, and she's always telling me how like you're so very calm
Mhm.
throughout it all, and I'm just like, you know what? I can be exciting sometimes too.
I think that's a good thing, though. Imagine if you match the energy of like these 8-year-olds. It's gonna be almost a disaster But if you're able to bring down their energy, right? You know that 1, 2, 3 eyes on me,
Oh.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's like the idea, right? Because that brings down all the kids' energy. They're like, oh, I'm falling asleep now, right? But actually, I guess something I was curious about was, do you see yourself? You know, we've talked a lot about your lead up to education, right?
Mhm.
But I kind of want to talk about a little bit about your path through education and the experience you've had in the last 3 years rather than the last 20. I think one thing I was curious about was, you talked a little bit about how you volunteered for some younger kids, but do you find yourself in the future teaching for a younger audience, or an age group of like 20-year-olds, 15-year-olds? Is there something that you're dead set on?
Yeah, so I definitely think I want to teach more of the younger age group. I just think like my energy and my like vibe goes better
Your
with
Chwang
younger
vibe.
age. Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
you
I
saying
feel
we're
like
elementary school kids?
I'm saying
no,
we're worse. We gotta be
but
preschoolers. Oh,
but yeah, it's only because I feel like middle school and high schoolers, it takes a lot more energy, I guess, to deal with them, and then I just don't have like the endurance to do that.
yeah.
And also, I just don't think middle schoolers and high schoolers are all that interesting
Mm.
to
Oh.
teach. I honestly
Throwing
think
shade.
I honestly think the minds of children are more fascinating than like middle school, high school.
Yeah, that's a good point. Tiff, do you have?
So,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
because you had a lesson today that you taught.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, it went pretty well, better than I expected, but I think cause I was getting like graded on it, so like a supervisor was there and she was grading me on my teaching. I guess I got a little nervous, so I started like stuttering.
Mm.
So that's one thing that I didn't feel so good about today, but I think it went pretty well. I taught second graders about synonyms today.
What's a synonym? I'm just kidding. I need to go
It's
back to second.
oh, okay.
Drew freaked out. That's
I was
the
about to
bad
see
student.
whether he's gonna teach me or not. Put him on the spot. Yeah.
Wait, but I thought you were teaching lessons like the week before, and then the week before that. Like, I thought you were doing it every week.
Yeah, I am. So this week is like a language arts lesson on synonyms, and then next week I would have to do a social studies lesson, and then so on and so on.
Interesting.
Wow. So you were teaching it online, I think. You
Yeah,
mentioned that.
teaching online.
I have a really random question, right? Because we all hear from like our parents and our teachers how generations have changed so much in the last 10, 20 years, right? Every new generation is just completely different. Do you find that there's already a big culture difference between your age and the age of the kids you're teaching? So when I was in high school, right, I actually did a lot of tutoring for middle schoolers, and one thing I couldn't get my head around was how this was when back when Fortnite was so popular, and these kids couldn't think of anything besides Fortnite terms. So I had to equate all the math terms to Fortnite guns, and I had to look up what Fortnite terms were just to teach them, right? Because it was just impossible otherwise. And do you feel like you've noticed any of that cultural difference?
No, yeah, definitely. There's a big cultural difference. I feel like the generation right now, like the kids right now, it's hard because, well, I think it's commendable because they're really fast with technology, like compared to our generation. Like they're really fast at like learning how to figure out how things work. But the bad thing is they get so like into it that like it's hard to teach them like how we learned when we were kids.
Wait, can you give us an example? That's kind of freaky.
Yeah, so for example, like even like what you said about the Fortnite thing, they'll be like they're so obsessed with like what the trends these days that's just all what they're talking about. So there's no like when we were kids, we would go actually outside to the park or something, or hang out
Yeah.
at the playground. The kids these days, they're just playing they do play dates or whatnot, and then all they do is just play games.
Damn, I wish I lived in that generation.
You are in
Missed out.
that generation. You play games.
Okay. I didn't have to have play dates online. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get bullied for that. Thanks, Tiff.
It's sad. Like toys aren't as popular as they were when we were kids.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about the electronics, the iPads, the tablets, games.
Holy smoke! I don't know about you guys, but I think I got my first phone in middle school, and it was this really, I'm gonna say, crappy Nokia.
Yes.
Like, it barely called, and I think I used it only to learn how to solve a Rubik's cube, and even that was nearly impossible with the instructions on the internet back then. But I can't even imagine giving my third grade, hey, do you want an iPad Pro Plus? Which one do you want, the iPhone 11 or iPhone 12?
No, legit, some of these kids are so like bougie. Like I saw this one kid come in with like an Apple Watch and AirPods, and I was like, bro, I
Wow.
want one.
Wow, that's crazy.
But isn't there a rule in like elementary schools that you can't use electronics in classrooms?
True, yes, but like,
Oh, but they're online. So...
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure as the years go by, it's going to get harder and harder to not have technology in classrooms. Eventually,
Yeah.
everything's going to be taught using technology, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the good old days, we had, I think the biggest technological feat we had was the smartboard. Right?
Yes.
Like, when that came into schools, like, every teacher was so shocked. Even, honestly, I was shocked. It was something that, like, it had, like, a microphone so the teacher didn't have to yell, and so that you could talk into it. It had all the different pens, and you'd walk up and you write on the smartboard, and be like, oh my god. But now these kids are, like, throwing holograms at each other, and creating, I don't know, in 20 years, they might be, I don't know, 3D printing their homework out. It's kind of scary.
Do you know like do you know what those like the Elmos? You know like
I know
the,
Elmo, but I don't know about the Elmos.
So like it's like the thing where they lay like paper or something, and there's a camera, and then there's another camera that shoots to the smartboard, so you can see the paper.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
when I was a
in
kid, I
every
thought,
classroom.
yeah, I thought that was the most mind-blowing thing ever when I was a kid.
But now they're just like, the paper's
Yeah,
not
they're
even
just-
there.
Yeah, we don't even need the paper anymore. We can just write on the screen.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I guess something that really dissuaded me from education was, well, one, I hate children. I can't deal with them. But two, it's such a big responsibility, right?
Yeah.
You're almost being trusted with the next generation, right? Because we've seen there's generations where it's a lot worse than some, and some that are a lot better than others. And so I guess my next question is, what do you hope to teach the kids that you get the opportunity to teach, besides social studies and math? Because obviously you're gonna do a great job at that. But is there something else that you're trying to like really help those kids learn? Maybe when it comes to like patience or getting off their phones.
I think even when I went into education, my goal was the main goal was to teach more like kindness,
Mhm.
because I feel like kindness can really like help with a lot of things. But like I think like my biggest goal is to just contribute to helping the next generation not become like effed up people.
Well
'Cause,
said.
like, yeah, cause even if like say there are kids where their family situation isn't so good at the moment, like
Mhm.
it doesn't help if I as a teacher also contribute to that. So like I might as well become like at least one positive influence in their lives, so that when they grow up, cause like it's a lot of psychology stuff too. Like
Yeah.
kids, like it's so important what happens during those years, because it influences what they become when they grow up and who they become.
Yep.
So it's really important to become that positive influence for them.
That's
Yeah.
so wholesome.
Yeah.
Well, now you said that, I think the most memorable teachers I've had were in elementary school. Like I developed this super close relationship with all of them because I went to boarding elementary school. So, like, I would just be spending the whole week with my teachers. And one of the literature teachers really liked my like prose, and that really got me started in writing. So like even if my writing improved a lot more after that, I don't really remember all the other teachers' words about my writing, but I still go back to my elementary school time and remember how that teacher asked me to get up and read my prose in front of the class because she thought it was good. And I think that really started my passion for writing. So I do agree that what teachers do in elementary school years are like somewhat more important than the later years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also different because like compared to like middle school and high school, like your elementary school teachers, your relationship with them is more personal. I feel like middle school is when you start kind of cutting that relationship. I'm not saying that's always the case, but like usually like that's when you start to focus more on like your academics and like your like route to becoming an adult. So you kind of stop being like the relationship kind of cuts off at that point.
Yeah, I'm still in contact with my elementary school teachers, but not my like middle school teachers.
Yeah.
I really thought that's weird that I'm still in contact with my elementary
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That's
classmates.
really weird. When I go home, some of my elementary teachers will recognize me, which is insane because back then I was 4'11", and now I'm 6'5", and I don't even know how you recognize
But your
that.
face didn't change at all.
It did. It did a lot. I was a really chubby kid, and really tan.
Really?
Like Filipino tan. Yeah, I was very different back then, but I always thought it was pretty amazing that they were able to do that. Right? That just shows like what 10, 12 years ago, they cared a lot then, and they still care a lot now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty amazing.
I just feel like elementary school teachers just grow into part of your family almost. Like they know your parents. Like they know your parents, and they know other parents, and other parents know your parents.
True.
And they all follow your path of growth, and like they try to keep track of where you are right now.
They're stalking you. That's what you're saying. They want to know where you live, your social security number, and your everything.
You have a problem with that? I don't. I think that's sweet.
Oh my gosh.
You think that's sweet? Do you mean like the identity theft part or the teachers caring about you part?
Apparently the later one.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. I'm glad. Yeah. But before we end our wonderful episode off, I actually was curious on not so much your education aspect, but your radio show and your other extracurriculars, right? Because I was thinking about it. You definitely don't need to have a radio show to be in education, right? It's almost, if you looked at it from a whole, it'd be like, oh, that's really different. So I guess if you could kind of talk us through the process of you being like, you know what, I'm going to do certain things, not really have anything to do with education, but I kind of want to do them anyway.
I think it's because like in high school I mainly joined clubs for college, and like I liked some of them, but like in the end I didn't really like all of them. So I think after coming to college I decided like, well, I'm doing education like every single day anyways, so I might as well take the time like for myself and do things that I actually like want to do. So like I like made it a goal like starting freshman year. Well, it got canceled because of COVID, but like every semester I would join like a new club that like I would have interest in. So like I started that, and it was really nice. Like just trying things that because like I feel like this is probably the last opportunity, because like after college like there is no clubs. It's
you
just
get more cemented, it's harder. I guess let's say, June, I am in high school. My name is July, right?
Okay.
Nothing in association with your name at all, I swear.
Oh yeah, no.
I live in Fort He, New York, and I'm kind of debating about what I want to do, right? Obviously, I'm young, and nothing's finalized, but I'm unsure because college is somewhere. I mean, you kind of have to finalize it eventually in college, right? What sort of advice would you give to a listener who is in a similar situation and is unsure as to whether or not they want to pursue one thing or the other? Maybe they want to pursue both. Maybe they're just like, you know what, there's just something else out there. If you could take something from your own experiences and pass it on, what would that be?
I think definitely like out of the two options, which one would you be okay with doing for the next 10 years? And which one would be the one that you can't go on 10 years without doing?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Wow.
And then I would say drop the one that you're okay with.
Yeah.
Because even if you end up discovering that later on the choice you made was a mistake, there's always time to change what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. For some of
So
us.
go with that. Yeah, go with that choice.
What do you mean for some of us?
For some of us, we just don't have much more time left. Who knows? That ended on a really morbid note. My God. So basically, Tip, what he's trying to tell you is please stop
Trying to
the
tell
piano.
me?
Stop the piano, man. It's just not worth it. Stick to making pumpkin pie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made pumpkin cake yesterday.
You changed it to cake?
It somehow went wrong.
I had a feeling it was going to go wrong before you even made it. But June, I really, really do appreciate you coming out today on
Thank you
a
for
late
having
night.
me.
That was super insightful. I think you threw in some banger sentences that we're going to use for clickbait.
Yeah.
Just beautiful phrases, prose. Tiffany would describe it as, or her elementary school teacher would have described it as. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you
everyone.
for having me.
You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Chwang Vibes, as well as our Instagram at Chwang Vibes, and our personals at HenryChung314 and at Tiff__Beck, Beck as in Baekhyun. June, I'm going to give you the floor for however long you want. Plug everything and anyone and everyone. You can shout out anybody you would like. This is
And your
time.
dog.
Okay, wow. Okay, shout out to Spill the KT at
Oh,
WTBU.
It's a good shout out.
Yeah,
You
Give it a
so
shout
sad
out.
first?
shout out to my dog.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, Popo. Shout out to my acapella group, BU MC'd.
And
at
what's the
BU.
Instagram?
Yeah, it's BU
was about to,
_
man.
MC'd. And then a shout out to the music account at Listen to Us Toot Doot.
Listen to us. What?
Like, like the sound that instruments like toot doot.
I thought you were doing like a. Never mind. I'm not going to describe what I thought it was. June, do you have any personal Instagram accounts that you'd like to plug as well?
Oh yes, my Instagram is JuneBuggy1225.
June Buggy.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's a nickname from my elementary school teacher.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's all come full circle in this episode. Quite beautiful and intentional. Definitely not not an accident. But June, thank you so much for taking time out of the day. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and stays safe and healthy. All right, guys.
See
take
you
care.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.